He's not very intelligent and undoubtedly remains damaged by the early death of his mother, Diana. And he very foolishly blames the media for her, in his words, which is complete nonsense. But I think he loved the adulation. He loved it when he was being praised, especially when he was a soldier. But then he became criticized, firstly because he became drunk in public.
Tom, do you think Harry and Meghan are fast learning what they signed away when they took this Netflix big moolah? And I would say they signed away their credibility and their dignity.
Well, that's our view, but it's not theirs. They need the money, and they need it now more than ever because they've got no other source of income. So I think they're just stuck with the devil now. They're tied to Netflix, they're tied to their book, and all the criticism they're going to take means nothing because that's the only way they can earn their money. No, I choose people who don't want to be written about on the whole, whose lives are shrouded in mystery, and they want to hide their secrets, and I just love digging away to find out what they don't want us to know.
You hoped your children, Archie and Lilibet, would have had that you think they won't be able to now with this decision?
Well, for a start, the only time that I've come back to the UK is sadly for funerals or court cases.
Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is marking her daughter Lilibet's 4th birthday by sharing some personal photographs. A rare sighting of a little girl seen in this picture with her father, Prince Harry, and now her mom. The child's face is partially covered as the royal couple is known to fiercely guard the privacy of their 2 children. On Instagram, Meghan wrote, "Happy birthday to our beautiful girl. 4 years ago today, she came into our lives, and the day is brighter and better because of..."
Oh, you're not ready for this. The whispers behind those palace walls? They've just turned into thunder. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle thought they could keep their children wrapped in layers of silk and secrecy, untouchable, unseen, protected. But the walls they built so carefully? They're starting to tremble. And what's about to pour through those cracks could change everything. Tom Bower. Yes, that Tom Bower. He didn't just drop a casual comment. He lit the fuse on what might be the most explosive royal scandal of this decade. With a few carefully chosen words, he unleashed a tidal wave of questions no one dared to ask out loud. Bloodline, legitimacy, DNA. Words now echoing through silent corridors, bouncing off gold-framed portraits of monarchs who ruled with iron smiles. The whispers have turned into sharp demands, rumors circling like a storm gathering speed, aiming straight at the palace gates. This isn't some harmless tea-time gossip. Oh no, this is a royal reckoning in the making, one with the power to shake the crown to its core. So don't blink, because what's coming isn't just scandal, it's history ripping itself open.
Of course, that has always been her motive. She's money-obsessed, and always has been. And that is why she married Prince Harry. Her great surprise and disappointment was to discover that Prince Harry had very little money. She imagined he'd be worth hundreds of millions, if not billions. And she's having to make up for it now.
I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point. And the things that they're going to miss is, well, everything. You know, I love my country. I always have done. Despite what some people in that country have done. So, you know, I miss the UK. I miss parts of the UK, of course I do.
That the conversation, I'm told and I believe, was very early on in their relationship when Harry is bowled over by Meghan, is desperately in love, and already is talking about marriage, but long before their engagement is even announced, let alone they're married and she's pregnant. And he's sitting in Clarence House with then Prince Charles and Camilla. And Camilla just laughingly says, well, any child you'll have will probably have brown skin and ginger hair.
The Queen and the Duke.
Yes, and we just bumped into the Duke as we were walking by, which was so nice. So it'll be a nice moment to introduce the baby to more family, and my mom's with us as well. So it's been a really... Here we go.
Another great...
And just when the world thought Harry and Meghan had finally slipped into silence, bam, the spotlight swings right back to them, burning hotter than ever. But this time, it isn't about palace whispers, streaming contracts, or tell-all pages dripping with controversy. No, this time, it cuts far deeper. This time, it's about their children. Tom Bower has done it again. He's tossed a match into a room soaked in royal gasoline. He's not just gossiping, He's questioning the very foundation of Archie and Lilibet's bloodline. I know. Breathe. And before anyone writes this off as some reckless rumor, here's the chilling part. These claims come with years of quiet digging, unsettling timelines, strange gaps, and little cracks in the fairy tale that never quite sealed shut. The couple who once vowed to protect their children at all costs are now facing the cruelest twist imaginable. Their children have become the center of the storm. The shield they built so carefully? It might just be the blade now pointed straight at their throne of trust.
I think Tina is a great journalist, and perhaps she has inside information. I don't see how the Sussexes can give up both the Netflix and the book deal. They won't be living in a Montecito cottage. We're more likely living somewhere in downtown LA, in a little hovel. That's their problem. They're stuck now. But, the truth is about them. Then he wore a Nazi uniform at a party. Then he was wearing absolutely nothing in the nude at the party in Las Vegas. And he couldn't cope with the criticism because, in his view, he is a target. And it didn't help that his telephones were hacked by News International Rupert Murdoch's group here in London.
And let's stop sugarcoating it. This isn't about petty palace squabbles or outdated royal traditions anymore. This is the question that's slithering through drawing rooms, podcasts, and tabloid headlines like smoke in a locked room. Who exactly are Archie and Lilibet? For any ordinary family, it would be offensive. But for Harry and Meghan, a couple who've turned their personal lives into polished, marketable narratives, this question slices right through the glossy surface. Tom Bower isn't just hinting at whispers of surrogacy. No, what he's suggesting feels bigger, darker. It's the kind of secret that doesn't just ruin reputations, it shakes dynasties. And in the royal world, bloodline isn't just a technicality. It's the spine of the crown. If what Bower is implying holds even a flicker of truth, this isn't just a scandal. It's a direct strike at the very foundation of the monarchy itself. Harry, once the cheeky prince adored around the world, is now trapped in a nightmare. Tabloids devour him, memes mock him, and whispers paint him as either naive or deeply complicit. Reports from Montecito paint a grim picture. Harry pacing halls like a man cornered by his own past, snapping at staff, clinging to every headline like it's oxygen. The irony cuts like glass. The very man who once championed mental health is now unraveling beneath the weight of secrets that won't stay buried. Meghan, though, is playing an entirely different game. No trembling lips, no camera-ready tears. Just pure calculation. Legal teams on high alert. Cease and desist letters flying like daggers. But here's the cruel twist. Every time she tries to shut it down, the noise only grows louder. The internet is dissecting every photo, every date, every carefully staged bump and blurred timeline. The fairy tale glow now looks rehearsed. Too perfect, too cold. Critics say they could have silenced this storm years ago. Instead, they built a fortress of secrecy. And now that fortress is cracking, loudly and publicly. Whether Bower's allegations are fact or fiction almost doesn't matter anymore. Their silence is doing all the talking. And Bower, he's no tabloid amateur. His pen has exposed royals before, and disturbingly often he's been right. That's why the world is leaning in. Because when he speaks, scandals don't just make noise, they explode. And then there's the most unsettling red flag of them all, the children's distance from the rest of the royal family. Think about it. William and Kate's children are front and center. Family portraits, balcony waves, warm moments with the late queen. But Archie and Lilibet? Shadows. No shared smiles, no candid hugs, no cozy royal memories. Some say it's a coincidence. Others think the palace itself is quietly keeping its distance. Either way, those empty photo albums speak louder than any press release. If surrogacy was used, that's personal. But if outside donors were involved, that's a royal earthquake. Because the monarchy stands on one fragile thing, bloodline. And when that shakes, the entire crown trembles with it. Bower has lit the fuse. And this isn't just another tabloid headline. This is the kind of storm that can rewrite royal history, erasing names, titles, and legacies in one devastating blow. And here's where the story stops simmering and detonates. Silence. Not a word from Harry. Not a denial from Meghan. No DNA tests. No legal clarifications. Just a chilling, calculated void. And silence doesn't smother flames. It feeds them like oxygen. It's what turns a spark into a wildfire. People are asking the obvious question now. If there's nothing to hide, why not prove it? And as that old Oprah interview clip resurfaces, dissected frame by frame on every platform, the noise reaches a fever pitch. What started as a whisper has exploded into a global debate, with hashtags trending, primetime anchors raising eyebrows, and millions demanding one thing: the truth. Their refusal to address it isn't calming the storm. It's supercharging it. And then comes the cruelest twist of all. For Harry, fatherhood isn't just a subplot, it's his redemption arc. He's built his entire post-royal identity on being a father, on saying how Archie and Lilibet gave him purpose, grounding, a reason to fight. But critics are twisting that love into a knife. What if the children at the center of his healing aren't even biologically his? That's not just a scandal. That's a collapse of identity. This is the boy who walked behind his mother's coffin, the man the world once saw as resilient, brave, beloved. Now they paint him as either a naive pawn in Meghan's grand scheme or a co-conspirator in a royal deception. One version breaks his image, the other destroys his soul. Inside Montecito, sources describe the atmosphere as thick, heavy, suffocating. Harry isn't just skimming the headlines anymore, he's drowning in them. Friends whisper that he's locked in a loop, pacing, snapping at staff, muttering, re-watching clips of Meghan's pregnancies like a detective trying to solve an unsolvable case. Every Bauer claim is now a personal obsession. And with each sleepless night, the threads holding him together fray a little more. The irony is brutal. Harry, the mental health prince, is spiraling into the very darkness he once told the world how to escape. Meanwhile, Meghan's playing an entirely different game. No tears, no cracks, just war mode. Legal teams on speed dial. Cease and desist letters flying like arrows. But each threat she hurls only fans the blaze brighter. And now the question everyone's asking is cutting through the noise. If there's nothing to hide, why the panic? And then the palace. Ice cold. No statements from Charles. No sweet birthday posts. No new photos. Nothing. Just a silence colder than a Windsor winter. And when you set that against the warm glow around William and Kate's children, the contrast is glaring, almost blinding. Some see this distance as judgment. Others whisper, it's something far more deliberate. What if this isn't punishment, but protection? What if the palace has been keeping its distance not out of anger, but out of preparation, building a quiet buffer for a storm they saw coming? Because if the monarchy itself harbors doubts about Archie and Lilibet's bloodline, this isn't a scandal anymore. It's a constitutional earthquake. And now the whispers aren't confined to fringe tabloids. They're front-page stories, global debates. Even royal loyalists are asking the question the firm fears most. What if the future of the crown itself isn't built on royal blood? And now, the question that was once unspeakable is echoing everywhere. Will Harry and Meghan finally agree to a DNA test? Can you believe it's reached this point? A royal couple, once adored, once unstoppable, now cornered by the very storm they spent years pretending didn't exist. Every opportunity to silence the speculation, gone. Medical records, never shared. Clear timelines, always blurred. Honest answers, buried under layers of legal threats. What once looked like privacy now reeks of guilt. And that's the tragedy. This moment isn't just damaging their image, it's etching itself into history. Harry, the cheeky prince who once charmed the world by standing up to the crown, now looks like a man coming undone. Friends from his army days, the ones who laughed with him, fought beside him, are quietly drifting away. Sources whisper he's volatile, snapping. One moment, slipping into dead silence the next. The cruel talk that the man who once defied the palace has now lost himself entirely. And the cruelest cut of all, fatherhood. The single thread Harry clung to as his redemption arc is being dissected in public like a crime scene. For a man who rebuilt his identity around being a father, it's devastating, an unraveling happening in real time. Meghan, on the other hand, is reaching for her oldest weapon, control. Deflect, threaten, tighten the grip. Legal letters are flying out faster than royal invitations, warning networks, silencing whispers. But here's the thing no legal team can fix: moral doubt. It sticks. The world remembers the Netflix docuseries, the soft lighting, the curated angles, the speeches about breaking cycles of pain. They sold transparency. And now, they've turned their story into a fortress of steel. That hypocrisy isn't just visible, it's screaming. And the palace? Their silence is louder than any statement. No senior royal has stepped forward. No subtle gestures of unity. Just an eerie, calculated retreat. Insiders say King Charles has been warned. Even the smallest show of support could ignite a constitutional inferno if these rumors ever harden into facts. Behind closed doors, the chatter is real. Legal teams whispering, advisors gaming out the worst-case scenario, even murmurs about the line of succession if the unthinkable is ever proven. No press releases, no smiles, just the sound of history shifting beneath their feet. And so the question grows sharper, colder, impossible to ignore. Is Harry the pawn in Meghan's grand design, or the architect of a scandal that could rewrite royal history? Who exactly are Archie and Lilibet? This won't fade with time. It's not a headline anymore. It's a wound that will fester in the heart of the monarchy until the truth finally breaks through the silence.